Have you given anything up for Lent? The Christian season of penance began on Ash Wednesday, ends at Easter. My GBNews colleague Calvin Robinson is one of those who's decided to renounce something. He told his 148,000 Twitter followers, there it is, that he was giving up Twitter. Calvin joins us now from Oxford. Calvin, welcome to you. How do you feel now? Have you detoxified yet, or are you detoxifying?
I think I'm still detoxifying. I wake up in the morning and think, I have no idea what's going on in the world. What if the war's reached Great Britain? I get all of my news from Twitter. I like to have different perspectives on what's going on. And I've had to resort to picking up the newspapers again and reading one very clear bias of what's happening. And it's not as immediate, is it?
No. Have you found yourself with more time on your hands?
Yes, my Apple phone told me that I've had 85% less screen time in the last week. So I've definitely recruited some of my time back. But, I'm quite addicted to Twitter. It has, I would say, probably a negative impact on my life because I use it so much. And when I'm looking at something that I'm using that much, I think this is a good thing to give up, because Lent is all about giving up something that is difficult to give up, isn't it? Because quite often we think, I'll cut down on chocolate or wine because I need to lose some weight anyway. But it's not about doing that. It's not about doing things you should be doing anyway. It's about doing something a bit extra, a bit of a sacrifice. And to me, that is Twitter right now.
No, I mean, unsurprisingly, for those who don't know, Calvin is training to be a vicar, a priest. And I feel like I'm about to confess a sin to you, Calvin, actually, which is that I'm one of those who gave up something that was really easy to give up this year, cake. I don't really eat cake very much, but I've given up cake. Olivia Utley's alongside me. She's given up chocolate this year. Is that right?
Yeah. And I was eating an awful lot of chocolate, but I've just replaced it. I found myself eating a whole packet of marshmallows today, which I would never normally eat.
Oh dear. Calvin, for the uninitiated who don't do Lent, sell us the idea of a season of penance, of fasting, of abstinence. What's the logic?
Well, it's based on the 40 days and 40 nights that Christ spent in the desert. He was tempted just as we are because he was a man just as we are, although he was also God. But he was a man incarnate, and we don't he didn't sin like we did, and that's the difference. So we're supposed to tempt ourselves and not succumb to sin. We're supposed to sacrifice something as difficult as it is to make ourselves reflect and see how we can become a better person if we try hard enough. And of course, it's all about the lead up, really. It's all about preparation to Holy Week and to Easter, which is supposed to be the holiest day of the year in the Christian calendar, celebrating the time when Christ died for our sins and was resurrected for our salvation.
And do you think, Calvin, as I think anyway, that we live in a culture that could probably benefit from developing the habit of deferring gratification? Because it seems to me I'm not particularly good at it, but I look around and I see people who are really, really bad at it.
Yeah, it's very much a cultural thing, isn't it? The Islamic community have this very, very well written down with their Ramadan period over Eid. We don't so much have that in our culture anymore. We used to. Advent used to be a time of reflection and penitence in the lead up to Christmas and the big celebration of Christmas Day. And now it's just the whole November and December are all just overindulgence. And of course, Easter has become less of a significance over here. It's still very much celebrated on the continent, but in Britain we don't see it as a big a deal. We just have a chocolate egg every now and then and think it's something to do with Christians. But it should be, Lent should be about self-reflection, about taking yourself out of your day-to-day life and looking at yourself seriously. Are you trying to be a good person? Are you trying to live a holy life? And what can you do better to make the community better for everyone? That's what the faith is all about, really and truly.
And it's funny, I mean, to some degree we live in godless times, don't we, Calvin? But a lot of those Christian ideas are actually now replaced within a secular society. So, dry January, it feels a bit like Lent, doesn't it? The idea of people saying, well, I'll give up fish. I'll just, fish on Fridays has been a staple of the Catholic calendar for centuries.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny that we keep reinventing these holidays in a secular context. We have a day, every day of the year seems to be a day of something. I think today's National Dress Day, but they don't have as much importance or as much significance. They don't make us into better people. Having a day to celebrate dresses, literally gowns, doesn't really do much for us. But having 40 days and 40 nights off of something that we love, giving something up, or more contemporary, we can take something up if it's difficult to give something up, is much more significant. And it's about our soul rather than being superficial.
I'm sure National Dress Day will mean something to someone somewhere, won't it? Calvin, so good to talk to you, and well done for giving up Lent. It was a fantastic, for giving up Twitter for Lent. Fantastic idea, and I wish I'd thought of it.